Yeah, hi chat. Hello, hello. It is time for the lawyering. How are you doing? How are you doing, chat? Uh, I just had the most amazing shower, and I am ready to stream. I'm ready to play the lawyering. Thank you for the head pats. I tried to play this last time, and all the power in my room went out. So and then the rest of the house went out, and I was like, well, dang, I guess I can't stream now. No power. So we try again. We're gonna have to do a little bit of backtracking to for the game, but it's only a little bit of backtracking, so we're good. We're good. I hope everybody's having a wonderful day and are ready to listen to me do a lot of reading because that's what this game is. It's lots of reading. So, if, I hope you're ready for to hear me read just over and over and lots and over again. Lots of reading. So, hi Lee, hi Rose. Welcome in to Lawyer Night. Wee. I really love that one. I don't even want to change it. That stinger, it was just for Valentine's Day. I don't even want to change it. I like it so much. Alright, we can turn the game music. Wait, I got the game already up. Turn the game music back on. They turned it off just so it wouldn't overlap with other stuff. Why is it small? Why is it small? Weird. But okay, here we go. We don't want to exit. We want to go back. So it looks like it saved something, but it didn't save like how far we had made it into the actual trial, but we didn't make it too far. We were just like at the beginnings. Alright, here we go, chat. We're going in. The 22nd November, 9 a.m., Supreme Court of Judicature, Courtroom 2. So this is a courtroom. Ah, the Supreme Court of Judicature. No court in the land has more power. I don't much like the look of those people sitting in the public gallery. Lots of military and other uniforms in there. I mean, we can't really see their face, so thanks for telling us. The powers that have demanded that this be a secret trial. A secret trial? A trial that's closed to ordinary members of the public. Only military and government officials may attend. What? But why? It'll become clear in time. But for now, you need to concentrate, Ryunosuke. It's about to begin. Man, look at the judge. The court will now hear the trial of Ryunosuke Naruhodo. I could say his name today. Last time I tried to say his name and I kept getting tripped up, like really bad. The prosecution is ready, Your Excellency. As is the defense. Before we begin, there is one point of order I would like to confirm. Yesterday evening, the defense made a last-minute request for a change of advocate. That is correct, Your Excellency. I made the request myself. Normal procedure is for the defendant's advocacy to be decided 2 days prior to trial. This is an unnatural circumstance. I am obliged to ask for final confirmation now. Who advocates for the defendant in this trial? This is it. This must be the question. Who's going to defend me? That's the question the professor meant. But then, if I say I do, I need to answer quickly. What should I do? I wonder if the game will end if we say wait and see. Where's my dice? Where's my dice? They're giving me a choice. They're giving me a choice. I gotta roll. I gotta roll for it. Wait and see. Kazuma is the lawyer here. I can't defend myself. If I said I do, it would be tantamount to lying. And I've been accused of murder, for goodness sakes. There's no time for lies. Try to stop fidgeting, Ryunosuke. It's distracting. But if I don't say I'll defend myself now, things could end very badly for my friend. Your Excellency, no confirmation is needed. As I am standing here beside the defendant, I hope it is clear. What? Oh, so he's still... What is the meaning of this unruly outburst? I would like to inform the court that I, Ryunosuke Naruhodo, will be defending myself. Why? You'll be... What? God dang it. What are you playing at, Ryunosuke? Professor... Mikotaba told me everything just now before the trial. He did what? He said that your dreams of studying abroad would be dashed if you were to lose. How sad. It means you don't have faith in me. You think I won't be able to get you off. Giggity. No, it's not that, really. It's just that... Well, on the off chance that things don't go well for me, I couldn't bear to be the reason that you... Yes. I knew that's how you'd feel, which is exactly why I decided not to tell you. Professor Makotoba shouldn't have stuck his nose in. Very well. The court hereby recognizes the defense's desire to advocate for himself in today's trial. Well, well. Does the accused admit defeat already, renouncing his own counsel? Really?
Objection!
Make no mistake, counsel. This merely shows the defendant's innocence is apparent. He's confident he can speak for himself. Isn't that so, Naruhodo-san? Huh? Oh, yes, exactly. Exactly what I wasn't thinking. I'm not confident at all. In fact, my mind's a complete blank. I realize you're in charge now, but still, try not to look so bewildered. Well, for a mere university student to be brought here before the Supreme Court, you must have perpetrated the most heinous crime indeed. As you are no doubt aware, this is the Supreme Court of Judicature of Japan. Dang it, I think I butchered that. These are better graphics than I was expecting. Accordingly, the very highest standards of conduct are expected of all present. I mean, even the first game looked like this, Lee. Like, man, it was. I love these, but I haven't played them all, so it's gonna be a surprise for me, just like it is for the rest of you. Do I make myself clear? Defended Naruhodo. Yes, Your Excellency. It is therefore my duty to assess your competence for your task you have undertaken. Look like doodles. No, this is great. My competence? What does that mean? He's questioning your ability to do the job. Well, he can't be questioning it more than I am. So, let's start with the very simplest of questions. Oh, yes. Kindly state before the court the name of the victim in this case. Well, that's easy enough. I've heard his name more times than I care to remember. But, wait. I'm so nervous. I can't even remember that. What was it again? Ryunosuke. Let me guess. Your mind's gone blank? You know me so well. All the relevant information for this case can be found in the court record. But I can't even find that. It's simple. You can access the court record with the press of E. Thanks, game. If you ever find you've forgotten something, just consult that. It's all in there. I just have to press E for the court record? Alright, there's no time to lose. Thank you. This is a list of the evidence you've collected. Now try switching to people instead with E. You'll find details about the victim in there. When you're done, just press Z to go back. John H. Wilson. Okay. 47. Gotcha. Also remember, everything to do with the current case can be found in the court record. Now, you better not keep His Excellency waiting any longer. Go on. Find the victim in the people section of the court record, then press R to present. Try it now.
Yes!
Yes! The victim's name was Dr. John H. Wilson. Well, at least you can remember the name of the esteemed member of your own university. Dr. Wilson was a visiting professor from England, invited to Yume University 3 years ago. Indeed, which is the reason why this case has such profound implications. The British Empire is at present our country's most valuable foreign ally. And as most of you will be aware, we have just signed a new treaty together after lengthy negotiations. There can't be anyone who hasn't heard of the Anglo-Japanese Treaty of Friendship and Navigation. And yet, despite these delicate circumstances, the blood of an Englishman has been split on our soil. It said split, that said spelt. You two are both undergrads at the Imperial Yume University, are you not? Murdering a professor from the very institution that provides your education? Have you no honor? But I didn't do it. This case is coming under great scrutiny from our allies on the other side of the world. The court therefore wishes for a speedy resolution to this matter. In other words, our feeble government is scared of upsetting England's policymakers. And you're a convenient and expendable scapegoat to blame for this crime. Oh, okay. Good thing I made sure to bring water this time. Yeah. Might have to refill that. Thanks, Lee. So that's why this trial has these unusual peculiarities, is it? Exactly. Our government needs to convict someone as quickly as possible. All because the victim was an Englishman. Yes, Dr. Wilson was an Englishman. But nationalities and treaties won't make any difference for me here. The fact is, I was there at the scene of the crime. Oh dear, look at the time. I better be going. Alright, I'll see you later. I think I'll stay and enjoy this place a little longer. Good idea. After all, it's not every day you get to visit a high-class Western restaurant like this. See you in English class tomorrow then, partner. The British Empire. Wow, it's incredible to think. Wait. I've seen that man at university. I'm sure he's a visiting professor from Great Britain. I don't know his name, but still, I should go and say hello. So I went over to the professor's table and introduced myself to Dr. Wilson. Now then, let me pose my next question to you, defendant Naruhodo. Yes, Your Excellency. How did this professor of medicine, Dr. John H. Wilson, lose his life? State before the court the cause of death. The cause of death? Well, obviously that was, Ryonosuke. Remember that in court, every assertion must be backed up by evidence. By evidence? But how? Find the piece of evidence that shows the professor's cause of death, then select present. Do it now. Ah, the post-mortem report. Yep. That's what we need.
Yes!
Well, according to this document, the victim suffered a hemorrhagic death due to a gunshot trauma. Learn to read, you imbecile. That's the post-mortem report, I take it. Sorry, yes, that's right. The, post-mortem report. In the West, a doctor dissects corpses to identify the cause of death in an autopsy. But here in Japan, a police officer merely inspects the body and draws conclusions that way. Oh, I see. As long as I'm not going to be tested on any of this later. This is a so-called photographic print of the scene of the crime. You can clearly discern scorch marks around the bullet hole produced by the powder explosion. In other words, we should assume that the victim was shot at close range. Thank you, counsel. The court will accept this modern scientific evidence into the record. Print shows the victim. He was shot from the front in the chest and subsequently died. Okay. So that's a photographic print. Well, that's something I've never seen before. It's clearly superior to drawing. The detail is incredible. Very well. I am satisfied with your answers. Let us start the trial. Certainly, Your Excellency. So, without further ado, in order to better appease the court with the facts of the case, the prosecution hereby calls its first witness, who was there at the scene of the crime when it happened. Ugh, this is it then. Hmm. I think I may have worked out what the professor had in mind. The professor? You mean Dr. Mikotoba? Yes, clearly you're the defense lawyer today, not me. But that doesn't mean. Well, I can still act as your assistant. Ah, of course. When he was speaking with me before, he simply said, Kazuma Asogi? Asogi? Must not be the defense lawyer in this trial. He really has been sticking his oar in, hasn't he? Maybe, but any help you can give me would be greatly appreciated, Kazuma. Well, my first piece of advice is rein in that crazy look of bewilderment and control the cold sweats. Only if you can rein in that crazy headband and control the cold stares first. I mean, the headband has its own wind, so it's just blowing there. We know that there's no fan or wind going through this courtroom like that. That his headband is just flapping up there. Oh, hello. Witness, state your name and occupation for the court, please. Of course, my name is Sataru Hosanaga. I am the head waiter at the Western style restaurant called La Carnival. Carnival? Am I saying that right? Ahem, ahem. Sir, are you bleeding? What? Um, are you alright? You seem to be coughing up some, It's a regular occurrence. It doesn't bother me. You shouldn't be coughing up blood. Hello? Well, it really, really should. Yeah, absolutely. As everyone knows, the capital's southeastern. Hello? Like, this man is coughing up blood, and he's like, oh, no, it doesn't bother me. No. It should. It really should. You should not be standing before us today. You need a doctor. Remember, chat, if you're coughing up blood, please go see a doctor. Yeah, it's just a flesh wound. No, it's not. No. No, it's not. Pause, chat. Pause.
Yes! Objection! Yes! Yes!
Oh my god, have I been reading this whole time and nobody could hear me? Holy shit. I didn't know my mic was muted. Oh my god. Nobody told me. Okay, okay. Here. So the yeah, sorry. So the military guy standing next to this old man has a baby strapped on his back, and he lied to the court about seeing us shoot the other guy. He said we shot him from the back, but the victim was shot from the front. I thought we were just vibing to the music. No, I was reading the whole time. And the old man didn't care about the gunshot. He was looking for his coin that he might have dropped. Well, that means you guys didn't hear me do a whole lot of stumbling. Out of interest, did you find the coin in the end? Savage. No. I see. That lamentable day, the precious Hoei Koban was lost to me. No doubt some unscrupulous scoundrel pocketed the prize coin for himself. That man brought a baby to court. As I am sure everyone present is aware, this case demands a swift and decisive resolution. Our government has promised to send a full report to Great Britain by telegraph this very afternoon. Nevertheless, the witness testimony the court has just heard was inconclusive. No matter how subservient our government feels it must be to the British, it would be unforgivable to deliver a verdict on this trial right now. What is your position, Prosecutor Auchi? Worry not, Your Excellency. The defendant may have fed a tiger at the front gate, but he will find a wolf at the back. My witnesses have further testimony to make. Explain. Upon hearing their next statements, it will become abundantly clear that there is only one person who could have possibly have committed this despicable crime. The equally despicable defendant, Ryunosuke Naruhodo. What? He really seems to have a despicable opinion of you, doesn't he? Very well. The court invites the witnesses to testify again. You will thoroughly explain the reasoning behind the prosecution's allegation. Is that clear? As clear as Curicó glass, Your Excellency. Yes, sir. At once, sir. Awaiting signals to testify, sir. What is with the baby? You brought the baby? Excuse me, but there's something or someone peeking out over your shoulder, I think. Affirmative. The newest member of the Nosa family to rise up through the ranks, sir. Named Ido. It would seem those scraps are a sign of the sergeant being too strapped to afford a nanny. Ido. T-shun. Your father is about to quell the enemy. Watch and learn, my boy. My goodness. Not him having this baby. The true culprit. Even if what I saw wasn't the precise moment the firearm was discharged, it is almost the same thing. Yes, pointing his gun at the foreign man he was, that young lad in black, that much I myself did see. Furthermore, a visual search of the premises at the time confirmed that we were the only personnel present. Indeed, alone he was, the Englishman, dining all by himself. Therefore, no other than the black uniformed cadet could have dispatched the Englishman. Over and out. No, there was somebody else there, he said. These testimonies... Wait, that's nonsense. The victim, Dr. Wilson, wasn't alone at all. Please, enough of these outbursts already. But there was a woman. Was a young woman at his table. You must have seen her. Everyone there must have seen her.
Objection!
If you call yourself a lawyer, then you will respect the rules of the court and speak accordingly. We are not here to listen to your fantasies. Ugh. It is evident beyond all reasonable doubt that the victim was alone at the time of the incident. The prosecution has photographic evidence of this fact. Is this a photographic print of the scene of the crime, counsel? Indeed, of the table on which the victim was dining, taken by the investigator immediately after the incident. As it can plainly be seen, there is only one place set. Certainly, based on the appearance of this print, it would be reasonable to conclude that the victim was not in the company of anyone else. But this doesn't make any sense. The court will add this new photographic evidence to the record. Print. I don't understand. What's going on here? It's just not possible that nobody else saw that woman. The waiter before said the same thing. He maintains that Dr. Wilson came to the restaurant alone as well. But that's not true. I saw her. I swear I saw a woman with him. It would seem that we'll be able to telegraph the report to Great Britain on time after all. The witness testimonies we've just heard leave no further room for doubt. These are very sensitive political times, as we all know. The ink is still fresh on the treaty with Great Britain. To think that I, Takasuchi Aochi, will have contributed to the amity of these two great empires is an honor. Oh, poor Ryunosuke. How can this be happening? The judge is ready to rule. Stand tall, Ryunosuke. It's not over yet. What? If what you say is true, then there is something going on here behind the scenes. And now's your chance to expose it, to draw out the truth in your cross-examination. I don't know, Kazuma. The defense is entitled to cross-examine the witnesses, but make it quick. Understood? Rules can be so unbending at times. The true culprit. Okay, let's see. Even if what I saw wasn't the precise moment the firearm was discharged, it's almost the same thing. Yes, pointing his gun at the foreign man, he was a young... Let's see, okay. Furthermore, a visual search of the premises at the time confirmed that we were the only personnel present. Indeed, alone he was, the Englishman, dining all by himself. Therefore, no other than the black uniformed cadet could have dispatched the Englishman over and out. Can I go back? No! I wanted to go back. What do you think, Ryunosuke? Let me check this court record real quick. Let's see. But the bullet did not pass through the victim's body. Okay, bullet hole. There's nothing else around here. Sketch. Oh, back. Kitchen entrance. I don't really want the magnifying glass. I wish I could turn the card over or something. See if anything's on the back of the card, but... This still seems kind of weird that he only put the X here. He didn't even put where the other two people are. Like, where were they sitting? A bottle of carbonated water and steak lunch can be seen on the victim's table. Yeah, I don't see anything else in this picture either. Like, there's nothing. This is a pretty tough one. And why is there nobody in the chair? Did they move him? Oh. What's the matter? I can't find anything. I can't find a clear discrepancy anywhere. I'm done for. I can't win this trial. No, 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 no. Listen, the first thing to do is calm down. You can't expect the witness's statements to be full of holes every time. So just take your time and try to tease more information out of them first. What do you mean? You can choose to either press or present against each witness's statements. If a witness is saying something you're suspicious about, press him on it with Q. With a little luck, you may get more details, which could prove to be crucial. Right, I see. The important point is there's no sense in holding back. If anything even slightly jars you, press witnesses on it and press them hard. Alright, got it. I'll press them like blocks of tofu. The professor wasn't alone in the restaurant, I'm sure of it. And one way or another, this cross-examination is going to prove I'm right. It's time to press them for all they're worth. My fate depends on it. You know, it's not almost the same thing, but I'm gonna press a lot of stuff.
Yes!
I'm just gonna press them. No, no, no. It is not the same thing at all. For a start, I didn't fire that gun. We have a difference of opinion on that. The opinion of a uniformed officer versus that of a fledgling cadet. I don't think so. Consider this, defendant. Just a moment ago, I blinked. Did you? Did you see it? Did you see me blink? How could I? And yet, it is an undeniable fact that I did blink. So there you have it. The fuck, bro? Have what? The sound of the firearm rang in my ears, and the very next moment, I saw you waving the gun at the Englishman. I think that says it all, don't you? And let us not forget the antiquities dealer witnessed the accused in this most incriminating position as well. Isn't that so, Kuta-san? Poor man. I thought you were on the floor. Yes, it may be true that I was holding the gun at that point in time. But I've told you already, that was only because I picked it up off the floor. Well, obviously, as the culprit, that is the only way you could explain it away. I had just finished drinking my coffee, and I was about to leave the restaurant when I noticed a gun on the floor at Dr. Wilson's feet, so I picked it up. And at the exact moment, a gunshot rang in my ears. Full of events beyond our control, life is. Sorry, what do you mean? In your case, you found a pistol on the floor and picked it up, which precipitated this testing predicament. I don't know. Whereas, conversely, I failed to pick up the Koban from the floor and find myself in an equally testing predicament as well. Anyway, the fact remains, myself, I did see you, with pistol in hand, standing over the foreigner. Furthermore, a visual search of the premises at the time confirmed we were the only personnel present, which I still don't believe.
Yes!
You must have noticed someone else at Dr. Wilson's table. There was a lady there.
Objection!
As you have been at pains to point out time and again, I feel I'm growing a callus in my ear. Not a callus. And yet no one else appears to have caught even a glimpse of this woman. If only there had been more people dining there at the time, then someone else would have noticed her. Unfortunately, it's already past 2 p.m. when it happened. A quiet time between lunch and dinner in any restaurant. I know, of course the place was almost empty. It's what you'd expect. It's clearly 2 p.m. It's neither here nor there in terms of time to eat. Hold on, chat. I almost forgot. I have to do something. I have to do a thing. We are out of something here at home. And I forgot to send funds for that. I wonder if there's a reason why the victim was eating at that time of day, and why he was alone. Yes, Your Excellency, there was indeed a reason. There was? This was found in the victim's jacket pocket. What is that, Counsel? It is a medical report card, Your Excellency. It would seem that the victim had an appointment with the clinic prior to visiting the restaurant. Hata Clinic. Yes, there would indeed appear to be an entry for the date in question. 19th November, noon to past 1 p.m. The very day of the incident. So the victim went for a late lunch following his appointment. The explanation couldn't be more simple. The prosecution felt no need to submit this evidence before, as it really has no bearing on the case. I wonder... What do you think, Ryunosuke? Well, it is hard to see how it could be related, really. Remember, you can request for it to be entered into the court record as evidence if you think it could be useful. Should I ask for Dr. Wilson's medical report card to be submitted as evidence? Yeah, why not? The more evidence we have, the better.
Yes!
If I may, I would like to ask for that medical record card to be submitted as evidence, Your Excellency. On what grounds? The court has already heard conclusive witness testimony. Additional evidence would be extraneous. Not to mention that the victim's movements prior to his arrival at the restaurant are of no concern.
Objection!
Whether or not they are of concern is up for us to decide. We have a right to explore all possible avenues. I beg your pardon. You have no authority to refuse a perfectly valid request for a submission of evidence. Very well, the court will grant the defense's request. Youngsters these days are forever asserting their rights. It is a most disturbing trend. Wow, that sounds familiar. Officer, kindly add the victim's medical report card to the court record. What we need right now is new clues. Yeah, I want to check that court record real quick. Check this out. A medical report. I can't examine it? Dang. I was hoping it would open or something. Like, I can't do anything with that. We have to explore things from every possible angle, even if they don't seem relevant at first. Right. I hear you. You can conspire to prolong this trial as much as you like, but it's the day after the festival already for you. Or perhaps you've forgotten that these witness testimonies leave no room for doubt. Feel free to reiterate for the accused, Korekura-san. Indeed, alone he was, the Englishman, dining all by himself.
Yes!
So you actually saw that with your own eyes, did you? The victim, Dr. Wilson, dining alone. That I did. Forgive me for the position I place you in. So the testimonies of the old man, the soldier, and the waiter all agree on that point. Isn't that interesting? Let us not forget the incontestable evidence we have to support their statements as well. As it can clearly be seen, there is only a single beefsteak on the victim's table, a meal for one. No. The antiquities dealer, the sergeant, and the waiter who testified before, it is not impossible that they're all lying. But if so, then why? If I'm perfectly honest, I have absolutely no idea. Therefore, no other than the black uniformed cadet could have dispatched the Englishman. Over and out.
Yes!
I've pressed every statement. Why aren't you telling the truth? What? What did you say, cadet? I clearly remember. There was a woman sitting across the table from the professor. Perhaps one of you might not have noticed. But for both of you to have failed to see the professor's dining companion is just not possible. Unfortunately for you, defendant Naruhodo, it is just not a case of these two witnesses alone. Sorry? The waiter, whose testimony the court heard earlier, clearly stated the same thing. He also said that the victim was alone. That's right. Precisely. In other words, you are the sole proponent of this phantom lady. But if such a woman were indeed present at the scene, the prosecution demands to see proof. And if no such proof exists, the prosecution demands that no further mention of this phantom woman be made. It is a blatant waste of the court's time. There's nothing I can say to that. Excellent work, Ryunosuke. We gleaned some new information now. Well, yes, but I don't feel like it changes much. I can't see if it brings any real discrepancies to light. I wouldn't be so sure. Let me see that medical report card you got there. Oh, you mean this? Yes, this is a brand new piece of evidence. So perhaps we should examine it with a little more detail. How exactly? You'll notice that some pieces of evidence bear a magnifying glass. These are the ones you may examine. Press the space so you can take a closer look at the piece in question. Oh yeah, that's what I want. I want to be able to turn things. To rotate the evidence in all directions and examine it from all angles. By using WSD. Ah, yeah, WASD. You can move the crosshairs around to hunt for clues that may have been missed before. If the crosshairs start to pulsate, press space to investigate further. So, partner, I think you should take a closer look at this medical report card. See if there isn't something new to be learnt by examining it in more detail. Alright, I'll see what I can do. Okay. There's that. Says health clinic on this medical report card. I hate clinics almost as much as I hate hospitals and surgeries. Aren't they all the same? When I was 5, I caught the only cold I've ever had in my life. And I remember, even though I felt awful already, I had to have this hideous injection in my right arm. I'll never forget it. Never in my whole life. Most people would give their right arm to have had only one cold in their whole life. Anyway, I don't think this is a clinic where they treat people for illnesses like that. Let's keep looking for clues. We don't want to miss anything. Try at every visit. Huh? There's no date here? It looks like the medical report card was first issued quite some time ago. It's probably a record of long-term treatment, that's why. With a family doctor, I imagine. Well, I can't imagine going to a doctor, I mean. As long as I'm alive, I'm never consulting one. Well, if you're dead, there will be no point. So you don't like doctors, then? Hold on, chat. Can't find the salt. Why would you? They make you drink horrible tasting medicine, they give you painful injections, and then they demand lots of money from you for the privilege when you're at your lowest ebb. You sound like a model patient. With a bad case of stubbornness, no less, for which the only cure is a very bitter medicine indeed. Cool. Okay, so wait. We need that spot right there. What is this? Ooh, it opens. Let's have a look. This is some kind of medical history. Ah, and there's the entry for the day the professor was killed. Extraction of a molar with topical anesthesia. Extraction of a molar? You mean he had a tooth taken out? It would seem so. Just before the incident, he had a bad tooth removed. Perhaps they use laughing gas. It is the most common practice in the West for pain relief. Yes, I heard of this anesthesia. Although it is hard to believe there's anything that could actually stop you from feeling pain. Ah, there's a cautionary note from the medical practitioner as well. Strictly no food or drink besides water for 3 hours post-procedure until the anesthetic effects have passed. Really? Sounds like information worth bearing in mind. Ooh, there's no way he could have ate that steak then. With this new information, the meaning of that one particular statement totally changes. So I think it's time we listen to the testimony again, don't you? Definitely. It's almost the same thing. Okay, so I can go back and forth. Okay. Dining all by himself. How would this prove that he was not dining by himself? Well, he couldn't have been because he can't eat. So let's see if this works now.
Yes!
Hey, the music stopped. Let's go. Well, I think, um, what are you wittering, lad? Call yourself a lawyer. I wish I could. But first and foremost, here, I am the accused. Ryunosuke. Everyone stumbles on their words occasionally. Under the circumstances, I wouldn't worry about it. Thanks, Kazuma. I could see it quite clearly in the cross-examination you just carried out. When you raised your hand straight up like that, so purposefully, you knew exactly what it was you wanted to say. Don't feel like you have to choose your words carefully. Just say what you're thinking. Alright, and thanks for the advice. Deep breath, kid. Kodakuda-san, this is the medical report card belonging to the victim. Ah, I see, and I don't see. What of it, boy? Comparing what is written on this report with your witness statement, something clearly doesn't add up.
Objection!
Dear me, have you forgotten my words so soon, you amateur? Sorry, what? You are not to interrupt court proceedings with your amateurish drivel. But let's see if I can explain in words you might understand. It was after 2 p.m. in the afternoon when the victims were murdered at the restaurant. Whatever he may or may not have done before that time is completely irrelevant. But that's, remember, Ryunosuke, you don't have to use clever language or fancy words. Just make your point. Your Excellency, I believe we're finished here. There's surely no need prolonging this trial further. The witnesses' testimonies the court has heard has been clear and concise. This medical report card has no bearing on the matter at all, for the simplest reason that there's no one else besides the pale-faced pupil. Oh, this medical report card has nothing to do with the case? Do you really believe that? What? That outburst half petrified me, boy. Of course I believe it. How could it possibly be relevant? Perhaps because Hota Clinic, which issued the report card, is a dental clinic. A dental clinic? Is that supposed to mean something to me? Perhaps if I told you that the victim had just had a tooth extracted. What's this now? And furthermore, if I told you that, as a result, the victim had been forbidden from eating. Just what are you trying to say, Cadet? He had orders not to eat? So what? It is all written up in here. No food or drink other than water for 3 hours post-procedure while the anesthesia wears off. What? No, that can't... Korekura-san. What, boy? What? It is as you just heard. When he was killed, sometime shortly after 2 p.m., the victim couldn't have been eating anything at all. No. Additionally, there's more. You have assured the court with unwavering self-confidence that the victim was dining alone. But that cannot possibly be the case. Because the victim, as we now know, had just had one of his teeth extracted and was still experiencing the effects of the anesthetic. Expertly done, partner. Yeah, we got him.
Attention!
What is this nonsense, you little upstart? These are baseless accusations. Just look at the photographic evidence. You can clearly see the plate of food at the victim's table.
Objection!
Use your head. That's the very discrepancy we're talking about, or can't you follow logic? How dare you? I think it is fair to say that the tables in this restaurant's case have turned. Wouldn't you agree, Ryunosuke? Yes, most definitely. So, having just undergone some dental surgery, the victim was unable to eat. Which leaves one very crucial conundrum. Who in fact was eating the pictured beefsteak? The court will hear the opinion of the defense on this new puzzle. I assume you're ready, counsel? Counsel? Oh, that means me, doesn't it? Alright, the answer to this question is going to be pivotal. This is the start of your turning this trial around. Show them what you're made of. Got it. So, the person eating the steak at the victim's table must have been, as of yet unknown, third party. Obviously, it can only have been someone else who was sitting at the professor's table.
Objection!
You will not let this go, will you? There is no such person.
Yes!
There was, because I saw her. When the incident occurred, we know that the victim couldn't have been eating anything. Yet we have evidence of a half-eaten steak on his table. Therefore, the only logical conclusion is that there was somebody else there eating it. We have strong evidence to support our assertion. It's clear that these witnesses' testimonies are unreliable. If the court decides to push through a ruling at this stage, we will lodge a formal complaint with the Ministry of Justice and pursue a fair retrial relentlessly. Kazuma, are you insane? You would take on the government? Don't worry, counsel. I have no issue with you. What do you mean? I have an issue with them, those two witnesses in the stand. What? What are you talking about? We have demonstrated with evidence that the victim was not alone. So if it now turns out that the two of you deliberately lied when giving your testimonies, obviously you will be charged with perjury. Perjury? And since this is a murder trial, you will also be deemed complicit in the killing. Complicit? In murder? Old man shaking. Negative. There was no mention of this at the tactical meeting. I was just following orders. That's right, as the man says. Just say you never saw the gentlewoman. That's what they, told us. Oh? Oh. What? What did you just say, Korekura-san? Oh, no. You were just following orders. Now hold on, lad. I was, say you never saw the gentlewoman. When you say gentlewoman, do you mean you saw the victim with a lady from overseas? What?
Objection!
What is the meaning of all this? These witnesses gave false statements? Is this true, you pair? Just one. Just one simple slip of the tongue. No. No, bro. No! You liars! Liars! Order, order. Counsel, explain what is going on here. It is painfully clear now. You tried to prevent these witnesses from telling the truth. Absolutely not. The prosecution knows nothing of this. Then who's behind this? Who tried to make you keep your mouth shut? Well, that's classified. So you're prepared to be tried as a conspirator to this murder, are you? You wouldn't. This can't be happening. Ryunosuke, judging from the way they're reacting to this, I say they were sworn to silence by someone with considerable influence. However, I don't believe Ouchie had any idea about it. What are you saying? I mean, to wield that kind of influence, there are only a handful of possibilities. It could have only been the government, the military, or the police, I suppose. Well, any ideas about who might be behind this? If we can affirm who tried to silence these witnesses, then we can continue our pursuit. So we need to name whoever it was that tried to make the witnesses keep their mouths shut. Well, there should be two other people. The waiter and the lady, and since the lady isn't here, I would go with the waiter. Evidence that proves whoever it was really did wield his or her power here. But how? How can we possibly? Remember how we made progress before? We examined this piece of evidence in more detail and found a new clue as a result. Oh yes, that's right. Well, that's not the only piece of evidence we have, is it? We need to re-examine everything and make sure there's nothing we missed. There's no time to lose. I want answers. If it is proven that these witnesses have been manipulated, I assure you the penalty will be severe. Please, wait. Your Excellency, I had no idea about any of this. I swear to every Shinto god. I knew nothing. And what does the defense have to say about all this? Well, Your Excellency, there's no time to think. I'm just going to have to close my eyes and shout out the first name that comes to my head. Besides the prosecution, the only person with the necessary influence to manipulate the witnesses is... Maybe it was this guy, but... because it's not him. He's an army sergeant. Oh my god, so who is it? I'm gonna go with the waiter first. I have little things up here, so I'm gonna try the waiter because there's not many other people in there. I doubt it was him. He's dead, right? So I'm gonna go with the waiter.
Yes!
Well, surely that would be Sotaru Hosonaga-san. Hosonaga-san? The waiter who took the stand earlier?
Objection!
Poppycock. What possible reason could the waiter have to make these witnesses give false testimony? Not to mention the fact that even the head waiter could not have possibly have that level of influence. For once, I would agree with you. If that is, the man truly were a waiter. Huh? What? What? What if he truly were? Come on, Ryunosuke. Time to hit this court with the truth. The truth about Satoru Hasanoga-san's real identity as proven by this evidence. What? Something I missed here? Okay, wait. Let me examine stuff. Since I can now. British time of death. Yes. Okay, so there's nothing there. There's nothing here. Okay. What evidence? Didn't the waiter say he was by himself? Wait, this is the back of a business card. Hold on. Oh my god. He's a police officer. The waiter would have been waiting on him and the person who was at the table. Exactly. But he's lying, just like the other two people is lying. They were all lying. And now this dude is a police officer. He was lying. Liars. Well, that's unexpected. What is? Look, do you see it says the witness's name here? Well, yes, business cards do tend to show the person's name. That's sort of the point. Not just the name is unexpected, it's his job title. Oh. Chief Inspector Satoru Hosonoga, Primary Criminal Investigation Division, Imperial Police Bureau. Of course he was lying about his identity. Inspector, what on earth? I have no idea, but let's face it, the police have a lot of power and influence, if they are wielding it somehow here. Yes. We got it. Present it.
Yes!
The plan of the restaurant sketched by the man in question? I agree it shows a great deal of attention to detail, but I'm not sure we can conclude anything. I'm sorry, Your Excellency, it is the back of the card. It's the back of the card that's of interest. I beg your pardon. Or perhaps I should have said the front? Yes, it is the front of the back of the card. That's where the telling detail is. Just flip it over. Dang it. Would somebody please explain what this overexcited student is trying to say? Just flip the card over, bro. Hosonaga-san sketched the plan of the restaurant on the reverse side of his business card. The front of that business card reveals the man in question's profession, his true profession. The waiter's profession, but that surely... Good gracious. That's right, Your Excellency. The card reads Chief Inspector, Primary Criminal Investigation Division, Imperial Police Bureau. What? The waiter is a police detective. I haven't heard any mention of this before. Why haven't I heard any mention of this before? The Imperial Police Bureau has immense power, absolute power, as far as regular civilians are concerned. So, witnesses there in the stand. Was it in fact the waiter who gave you your orders? Was it he who told you not to mention that you'd seen this foreign gentlewoman at the scene? Well... Oh, hello. Inspector Hosonaga. I was worried something like this may happen. The moment you asked me to submit my sketch as evidence, I realized it was a possibility. Oh my god. Oh my god. Yes, I remember now. He did act strangely when the judge asked him to hand over his business card. I strive to carry out all investigations flawlessly. It is my guiding principle. But I let myself be distracted when I made that sketch. It was an unusually careless mistake. So, you mean to say you really are a detective? But why would a detective be working as a restaurant waiter? Ah, of course. I was working undercover. Undercover? Yes. There has been a series of incidents at the restaurant recently. In order to investigate, I decided to get a job there as a waiter, working undercover. Incidents at the restaurant? What kind of incidents? That would be a classified police information, which I am not at liberty to divulge. However, I can state categorically that they are unrelated to this case of homicide. Mm. Very well then, Inspector Hosanaga, but you will elaborate on one point for the court. Of course, Your Excellency. We have just heard new information from the two witnesses beside you. That at the time of the shooting, there was in fact another person present at the victim's table. If that is indeed true, clearly you would have been aware of this person's presence, having served at the table in question. However, your testimony did not allude to this other diner. Therefore, I am led to assume that in your professional capacity as police officer, you required these witnesses to be in agreement. Would that be correct? Correct, Your Excellency. Unbelievable! As I suspected. As soon as I heard the gunshot, I ran out of the kitchen to see what happened. The victim sat slumped in his chair, and beside him, a gun in hand, stood the accused student. Sitting opposite the victim at the same table was a young lady, who I guessed to be an English woman. So the truth comes out. I immediately sealed off the restaurant and reported the incident to the bureau. It was then that I received some special orders. Special orders? You mean to say, remove the Englishwoman from the scene at once. It was made clear that the Englishwoman's presence in the restaurant was to be concealed. Those were my orders. But what if the Englishwoman was the killer? I think it would be everyone's best interest not to pursue that idea. The Empire views the friendly terms of its relationship with Britain more highly than anything at the moment. An Englishman has been murdered on our soil. To name an Englishwoman as the primary suspect? Well, without refutable evidence, it would be completely out of the question. So that's the reason for the disappearance of the Phantom Woman in this case. But it's not right. One possibility does spring to mind. What do you mean, Cosmo? UMay University is currently hosting a number of exchange students from Great Britain, and I'm fairly certain that one of them studying in the Medical Facilities Research Laboratory Is a young Englishwoman. What? You're a shrewd man. I can see why you're the chosen candidate for the overseas study tour. You mean when I removed the woman from the scene of the crime, I thought it prudent to check her identity first. Then the court demands that you name the lady in question at once, Inspector. The Englishwoman sitting at the university professor's table was a certain Miss Giselle Brett. She is indeed a foreign student studying in the research laboratory of UMA University's medical facility. What? What's happening here? She did it. She shot him because it wasn't us. I admit, under orders from the police bureau, I erased all evidence of this lady's presence at the scene and ordered the witnesses to make no mention of her in their testimonies. I must It must now be up to your excellency to decide how to deal with this situation. Very well. My thoughts on the matter are as follows. Thus far the case presented to the court has been underpinned by a particularly critical premise, namely that the victim was dining alone. However, as we have now discovered that this premise is false, it would be a des- desecrate desiccation, I think I'm saying it right, desiccation of our justice system to ignore the truth and give a ruling at this point. But, Your Excellency, that will mean missing the noon deadline of the ruling in order to send the telegraphic report to Great Britain. Our own government would surely be displeased by such actions. Calm yourself, Counsel. I will not allow the government of our country or any other to influence the proceedings of my courtroom. Inspector Hosonaga. Yes, sir. You will locate this Giselle Brett and escort her to the courtroom with the utmost urgency. At once, Your Excellency. But that means you'll be going against the special orders you were given from the police bureau. As I said before, it is my guiding principle to carry out all investigations flawlessly. So it won't be a problem. Nothing will get in my way. Court will adjourn briefly. The prosecution must call the English student, Giselle Brett, to the witness stand. Do I make myself clear? Yes, Your Excellency. Good. Then we will have a 30-minute recess before reconvening. Hey, we did it, Chair. We made it through. Oh my god. Okay. Let's save our progress. Oh, I save it here. Hey, chat. Hey. Alright. I'm going to go and I'm gonna fill up my water. And I'm gonna be right back. Because we made it through that whole point. We did good, chat. Okay. I'll be right back. I'm gonna fill up my water bottle. Chat, you ready for part 2 of this trial? Oh boy, things are getting hot now. I'm excited. I'm excited. Okay, let's go. Hello, Kaiba boy. Hello, Kaiba boy. Kaiba, god dang it, big butt. You're gonna knock stuff over. Your butt's too big. Excellent work, Ryonosuke. That was superb. My heart was in my mouth the entire time. It was almost unbelievable. I mean, looking at you in there. You were drenched in sweat, your eyes popping, your knees knocking, and you were grinding your teeth. It was a grim sight, but before I knew it, you started finding inconsistencies in the testimonies. I think you might have a natural talent for being a lawyer. Forget it, it's terrifying. If I get through this, I don't ever want to see the inside of a courtroom again. Anyway, it looks like we've exposed your phantom lady at last. Miss Giselle Brett, a student from Great Britain, is she? That's what I was trying to tell everyone from the start. Dr. Wilson wasn't alone. There was a young woman with him, like I've been saying all along. Yes, you have, haven't you? I might not be overly confident in the courtroom, but my powers of observation are one thing I'm sure of. Yes, I can see that. So, about this young gentlewoman. Thanks to our detective friend, she was hastily escorted away from the scene, it seems. Did you see what happened with that? No, I didn't see any of it. I was just on my way out of the restaurant myself. Then on the floor next to Dr. Wilson's table, I noticed there was a gun lying on the floor. And just after I bent to pick it up, I didn't have time to think about where the sound of the gunshot had come from. The waiter ran over to me, looking as white as a sheet, and he bundled me into some sort of small pantry next to the kitchen. Fast thinking by the detective, he apprehended his suspect without a moment's delay. Yes, and because I was shut in the pantry, I have no idea what happened outside in the dining area. Ah, there you are. Well done, both of you. Professor Mikotoba. Well, it seems I was right. The pair of you make an outstanding team. You exceeded my expectations, I have to say. Yes, it seems you planned this from the start. You arranged things so I wouldn't be able to act as a lawyer in this trial. Our modern country is still in its infancy, our justice system even more so. Which is why I firmly believe that we needed to send our brightest young stars overseas to learn all they can. I wanted to avoid a situation that may have resulted in your study tour to Great Britain being cancelled. Well, it makes no difference. Lawyer or otherwise, I am the kind of man who can't help his best friend avert the worst crisis of his life. If. I shouldn't waste everyone's time by going to study overseas anyway. What? What are you saying, Kazuma? So that's your stance. I was afraid you'd feel that way. Kazuma. Well then, it looks like it all comes down to you, young man. To me? Yes, you need to prove your innocence and uncover what really took place at that restaurant. I must say, I very much want to know the truth. After all, I have a personal connection to this case. Come to think of it, he said the same thing earlier this morning, didn't he? If you don't mind me asking, Professor, did you know the victim? Yes, I did. As you are probably aware, John H. Wilson was a visiting professor at UMA. It was I who invited him. Oh, oh, I see. I didn't know that before. Anyway, you're about to go into battle. The victim was a university professor from Great Britain, and well-known one at that. Naturally, our government is looking to identify and punish the culprit as quickly as possible. But let's not forget who we're going up against. The gentlewoman whose involvement our police bureau went into extraordinary lengths to hide. Yes, and I'm sure the prosecution will use every tool at their disposal to squash your case. But I have no doubt that you pair will put up a good fight, right to the last. Best of luck. Thank you. Now then, I need you to run an errand at the university at once. There is something I think we may need. Of course. Good luck, Kazuma-sama. Defendant Naruhodo. Court recess is over. Please make your way back inside the courtroom at once. It's time. Let's get back to it, partner. Let's go in there and deal a decisive blow before those old fossils know what hits them. Kazuma? What? Thank you. Really? What for? Well, if you hadn't said you believed me then, I'm fairly sure I've already found guilty by now. Look, I have faith in you. As a lawyer and as a friend. Coming from you, that means a lot. If I'm found guilty in this trial, he's really going to give up on his dream of studying abroad. That's the kind of true friend he is. So this isn't just my battle anymore. Whoever we're up against, we absolutely cannot afford to lose. Alright then. I'll save the thank yous for after the trial. You can treat me to one of those sukiyaki meals I like from Yume Cafeteria on University Street. With an extra large portion, of course. Go. Yeah! Here we go. The court hereby resumes the trial of Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Prosecutor Auchi, have you managed to subpoena the witness? Yes, Your Excellency, against all odds. And thanks to a certain young stripling, the prosecution is now under rather painful scrutiny from the government. Sorry. Let the government scrutinize. That's their job. Nothing to worry about. It's highly unlikely that the good relations we've forged with Great Britain will emerge from this trial unscathed. Will you still think it is nothing to worry about when the new treaty breaks down and our nation founders? Again, terribly sorry. If the friendship between our nations is really so fragile, then the treaty isn't worth the paper it's written on. That's right, Kazuma. That's right. You really have nothing to worry about, Ryunosuke. What do you mean? A secret trial, anxiety over some foreign government's opinions, a bungled investigation, missing witnesses. Is this what our nation's justice system is? Is this the Supreme Court of Japan or of England? Shut up, you jumped up rookie boy. You and your friend know nothing. Nothing of the situation our nation finds itself in. By aligning ourselves with this great world power, we'll become strong. Diplomacy has never been more critical. Steady political maneuvering is what will secure our futures. I won't deny that I'm no expert. I'm just a student, one who could arguably study harder too. But standing here now in our Supreme Court, there is one thing I feel very strongly. A country that fails to uphold the truth in its justice system is a country with no future at all. Well said, Ryunosuke, despite the wide-eyed look of terror. You little brats. Thank you, Counsel. This court is the pinnacle of our nation's justice system and exists solely for the pursuance of truth. With that in mind, this trial will now resume with the next witness taking the stand. The visiting student from Great Britain, Mrs. Giselle Brett. Yes, Your Excellency. Hey, he hit his head against that? Holy. Why? Oh, look at her hat. It's so pretty. Very, very out there. Well, what a delight it is to welcome such a fine gentlewoman to Japan, and from such a distant land. Tea. Someone bring the English tea. In England, no discussions take place without tea. Is that true? No idea. So, could we possibly trouble you to state your name and occupation for the court? Of course. My name is Satoru Hosonaga. I have been working undercover as the head waiter at Yes, we all know about you already. Inspector Hosonaga, where are your manners? In English, it's always ladies first. Is that true? No idea. More importantly, a little earlier today you said something to me. You said your powers of observation are one thing you are sure of. Oh, yes, I think I did, didn't I? Yet, your description of this amazing sight was simply a woman. Sorry, Ryunosuke, but powers of observation aside, your powers of description are sorely lacking. Guilty. So, dear lady, once again, if we may trouble you for your name and occupation, please. I'm sorry? What did you say? I'm terribly sorry, dear lady, but... What? The lady says her name is Giselle Brett. She comes from London, England. She is a visiting research student, currently enrolled in Yume University's medical facility. Oh my, what a rare treat to hear the dialect tones of a delightful language of the British people. I'm afraid I don't understand a word you said, but it was as beautiful as a hummingbird's song. Dang, kissing up, shit. As far as I can tell, the detective is translating her words faithfully enough. Yes, I agree. You obviously do fine in England, Kazuma. Her English doesn't rattle you at all, does it? Nor you. You've clearly been paying attention in your English classes, Ryunosuke. The court thanks the beautiful lady for taking the stand. Now, if we may trouble you to confirm something, Miss Brett. 3 days ago, at the restaurant called Le Carnival, a grim murder took place. The court has been led to believe that you were dining there with the victim, Dr. Wilson, at the time. Is that correct? " 」 " 」 " 」 " 」 " 」 " 」 " 」 " 」 " 」 " 」 " 」 " 」 " 」 " 」 " 」 " 」 " 」 " 」 " 」 " 」 " 」 " 」 " 」 " 」 " 」 " " " 」 " " " " " " She says yes. Wow, there was a lot for her to say yes. She just said yes. We don't have like a whole bunch of words to say yes. This could take some time. So even though she's studying here in Japan, she can't speak any Japanese? She'd like to apologize for disappearing from the scene. She says that she was due to make a presentation at the university, so she had to leave immediately. Interesting, when you're the one who engineered her escape. I was just following special orders from the Bureau. Well now, dear lady, would you be so kind as to cast your eyes over this photographic print? Seeing as you were so unfortunately present at the scene of the crime, could it be that your resplendent eyes caught sight of the wicked perpetrator, perhaps? Apparently, it was very frightening and sorrowful sight. Do you mean to say? Yes, it would appear the lady did witness the crime. The very moment when the accused, standing right there in this courtroom, shot the victim in cold blood. Look at her dress. So pretty. Order in the court. Did you hear that, Your Excellency? We have absolutely conclusive witness statement. Well, it looks like it's clear now. Clear who our real enemy is. Unfortunately, I will have to ask for you to formally testify, if you please. Kindly tell the court the exact nature of this frightening and sorrowful sight you described. I had arranged to meet for a slightly late luncheon with Dr. Wilson that day. The professor was unable to eat, so I ordered for myself only, a beefsteak. After a while, the accused came over to greet the professor, and they got into a fierce argument. Then, not long afterwards, the accused took the professor's gun and shot him right before my eyes. I don't carry a gun myself, so obviously I couldn't have been the culprit. This is condemning testimony indeed. No, I didn't have any kind of argument with the professor at all.
Objection!
Quiet, you filthy wretch. Look at you, black-hearted blackguard. And look at this snow-white angel. I'm sure even a dark-minded scoundrel like you can imagine whose words the court is going to believe. Ugh. You're still making the same mistakes, Ryunosuke. You mustn't blurt out when you're goaded like that. That's a lesson you need to learn. But he's so annoying. Of course, I was at the scene as well. I took statements from this lady and the two witnesses who testified before, and reported back to the Bureau. It was decided that Miss Brett was not involved, so I let her go. The testimonies of the last two witnesses were completely worthless, however. Well, even so. On the day in question, the lady was wearing the same outfit as she is today. As you can see, there is nowhere about her person where she could conceal a firearm. I would think that she could hide a gun almost anywhere in that outfit if she wanted to. Yes, indeed. Unless and until the precise location where the witness is to have hidden the weapon can be shown, this is moot. She has a hat. There are no pockets in my outfit. I have nowhere to hide a gun. Those are the witness's own words on the matter. That's ridiculous. If only I was allowed to lift up her dress, I could prove it. Don't think about doing anything rash, Ryunosuke. But I didn't fire the gun I picked up. There must have been another gun there that day. You're right about that, which means this lady was hiding a gun somewhere. Yes, that's what we have to prove now. And to do so, we need to pull her testimony apart. Ah, I saw that little smirk. The defense may now cross-examine the witness. Oh, yes, Your Excellency. Yeah, we need to cross-examine you. Luncheon with the professor that day. Okay, that makes sense. The professor was unable to eat, so I ordered for myself only a beefsteak. Okay, yes. For a while, the accused came over to greet the professor and they got into a fierce argument. Let's press that.
Yes!
I never got into an argument with the professor. All I did when I noticed him was go over to say hello. Please, do not get angry with me. No, I wasn't directing that retort at you. It was meant for the lady next to you. But anyway, as I said, I did not argue with the professor. I'm afraid your words are in vain. Sorry? Miss Brett does not appear to speak Japanese. No, of course not. Japanese is such a cumbersome language anyway. English is the future. We must all... What? I wonder if the prosecution will feel that way forever, or only in the presence of this beautiful woman. Well, that beautiful woman is telling blatant lies with a completely straight face. I have to find something that will unravel her testimony, no matter how seemingly insignificant it may be. Anyway, it seems that after the argument, the accused briefly returned to his own seat. That part ties in with what you said, does it? Yes, I still had some coffee to drink. And the next time you got up after that was when I finished my coffee and stood up to leave. She's still grinning over there. The accused took the professor's gun and shot him right before my eyes.
Yes!
Like I said, I did not shoot that gun. And like I said, there is no point repeating that assertion over and over. Well, I wasn't expecting to be attacked by my own side. Nevertheless, defendant, you can't deny that when the shot rang out in the restaurant, you had a gun in your hand. Well, yes, that's true, but all I did was pick up the gun I saw on the floor next to the professor as I was leaving the restaurant. In fact, yes, there was someone else much closer to the victim than me at the time. That will do, you dirty, rotten scoundrel. Dirty? Your baseless accusations could very well cause an international incident, boy. It seems to me that your accusation is just as baseless as ours. What nonsense. This lady is merely stating what she saw. And this already is an international incident, as far as I'm concerned anyway. I don't carry a gun myself, so obviously it couldn't have been the culprit. You don't?
Yes!
It is all very well saying that, but can you prove it? Absolutely. I have verified it personally. You verified it. Yes, immediately after the incident, I checked to make sure the lady was not carrying a weapon. I distinctly remember her saying, "I'm not." Wow, no. That's all you did? You just asked her? Surely you carried out a physical search, Inspector. No. Why on earth not? The Honorable English woman clearly stated that she did not possess a weapon. There was obviously no need for any further probing into the matter. Oh my god. Or there was no permission given for any further probing into the matter, perhaps. Think what you will. But if you're going to continue with this preposterous claim that the refined lady was concealing a firearm, the prosecution demands that you support your assertion with facts. In other words, he wants evidence. The lady wishes to point out that of course she wanted to stay and assist with the investigation. But she was in a hurry to give a presentation at the university, so she was compelled to leave. Not to mention the fact that your office had told you to get the woman out of there. Not get her out of there, I just urged her to leave. The lady would like to point out that she was in no way meant to run away from the scene of the crime. Which is why she was only too happy to cooperate and testify here in court today, of course. Unlike a certain student who refuses to admit when the game is up. You could at least have the courtesy to pay attention when I'm goading you. So she's maintaining that you got into an argument with the professor at the end of which you shot him. Which is an out, totally unfounded lie. Still, her statement is very compelling. After all, she's an elegant, refined, young, and beautiful gentlewoman from Great Britain. In stark contrast to you, dressed from head to toe in dull black school uniform. I'm dressed exactly the same way as you are, except for the flapping red ribbons. Well, anyway, this is our only chance to expose her testimony as the fiction that it is. If we can't do that, the trial's over. Even with your thick skin, you must be able to feel the murderous look you're getting from around the room. Only too well. I feel half dead already. And the fact that I can't see a single inconsistency in her testimony isn't making me feel any better either. The first thing to do is to press her on any of her statements that seem even slightly off to you. Do that, and an opening will present itself, I promise you. I need to expose the true face of this exotic foreigner that is hiding behind the mask. That is what I should be aiming for this cross-examination. Are we back at the beginning? Yep. Okay, so I pressed some of the ones at the end. I still haven't found anything. After 2 p.m., in fact, that is quite a late lunch, isn't it?
Objection!
You don't keep up with the latest fashions from Britain, do you? Late luncheons are in vogue, isn't that right? No. Ugh. A decisive English no has quite a sting to it. The gentlewoman is currently working in the victim's research laboratory, it seems. So apparently a daily occurrence that they would lunch together. But on the day in question, the victim had another appointment at the clinic first. Yes, which we can prove from the medical report card that was submitted as evidence earlier. That's right. Miss Brett and the victim went to lunch following the victim's treatment, which is why it was so late. Yes. That all makes perfect sense. Such wonderful logic. What a shining example of an English intelligence this fine gentlewoman is. So you both arrived at the restaurant. What happened next?
Yes!
He was unable to eat, you say? Oh, wait. That was because he had just had a tooth removed at Halta Clinic, correct? That's right. You're supposed to actually check with the witness before answering. Was Miss Britt aware of that fact? It seems so, yes. She heard the professor was to have some dental treatment. So that would mean that it was you who ate the beefsteak in the picture here. Is that right, Miss Brett? That is right, yes. The print you have there shows the table exactly as it was left after the horrifying events. Exactly as it was left. Dear me, what a harrowing experience. To have traveled to a distant land on the far side of the world and be embroiled in such a tragic incident. Have no fear, dear lady. I swear I will crush the evil fiend that has subjected you to this terrible plight. So the victim, Dr. Wilson, had nothing to eat or drink at all? That's right. Other than some carbonated water. Just water? Yes, the professor was unable to eat, but he had been given permission to drink water. So it appears that the diners toasted their lunch with a glass of water each. They each raised a glass of carbonated water. No, they didn't. What do you think, Ryunosuke, about the witness's last statement? Very meaningful, because they could not have done that. He wasn't allowed to eat or drink, not... Wait. Hold on, let me see. Anything but water. Okay, so... But there's only one glass in this picture. Yeah, there's only one glass. How did they raise the glass together? Alright. That last statement of yours, Miss Brett, has profound bearing on this case. Well, how fascinating. Do tell us what is this profound bearing? The significance of the statement will become apparent when the time is right. The defense calls for the witness's last statement to be formally added to the testimony. Well sidestepped, counsel. Very well, Miss Brett. Kindly repeat what you just said to be added to your official testimony. Gladly, she said. That was brilliant, Kazuma. I'm going to remember that one. Which one? The significance of will become apparent when the time is right. I could really use that phrase. I hope there are some more useful tips you're picking up from this experience than that, Ryunosuke. Beefsteak for myself and the professor and I said cheers over a glass of carbonated water. Okay, I'm gonna see if this works, because I only see one glass in this photo. Wait, let me look at the other one. I still only see one glass. So I only see one glass.
Yes!
That's it. Just let me confirm something, please. It's to do with this photographic print. Just a short while ago, you spoke of this print showing the victim's table at this crime scene. That is exactly as it was left. That is correct, the lady says. Well, that's odd, very odd. Dear me, what is odd in the defense's inability to express itself? Ryunosuke, what is it about the print that looks so odd to you? Well, obviously, it's the cheers. The cheers? Miss Brett just told us that she and the professor said cheers over a glass of water. But if that's true, there should be 2 glasses on the table, not 1. Oh. You're quite right, counsel. There's only 1 glass pictured here.
Objection!
Are we supposed to be impressed by this nitpicking over minute? What possible difference does the presence or absence of a glass make on this case?
Objection!
Minute, you say. Could it be that the detective here removed the glass from the table to conceal the lady's presence? Of course not. I would never do something so reckless. But But there should have been two glasses on the table. Or are you going to try to tell me that you can clink with only one? You're quite right. I certainly took two glasses to the table. Inspector, what did the lady say? It would seem that Miss Brett took the glass from the table. What? It was all so terrifying, everything that happened. I panicked and thought I should try to hide the fact that I had been there at all, she's saying. Good gracious. Sorry. There, as I assured the court before, this is of no consequence at all. Oh, please. We must remember that this student had just murdered this lady's luncheon companion before her very eyes. Who would blame her for concealing a glass or two in her state of disarray? That's absurd. Oh, really? So do we take it that you are now going to accuse this vulnerable young and beautiful woman of mischief? What? No, this can't be put down to mischief. I'd like to know exactly how the lady took the glass from the scene. It would seem that she slipped it into the small handbag she was carrying. A handbag, you say? Yes, Your Excellency, a small, upheld pouch commonly carried by well-to-do women in England. So the beautiful lady has very graciously explained how and why she removed the glass from the scene now. However, the fact remains that the glass has absolutely no bearing on this case. The student has been trying to confuse the court with logical reasoning, but in the end, it comes to nothing. No more pretentious accusations. You have wasted enough time already. Indeed, the lady has offered satisfactory explanation as to why she removed the glass. I think henceforth we consider the matter to have no bearing on the case. Counsel for the defense, are you in agreement? No. She could have hid a gun in that purse. Very well. I don't know, really. If you want to pursue this matter further, you're going to need to show that it has some deeper significance. Yes, you're right. So she took the glass away in her handbag. If there's a deeper significance, there is... Wait, she took the glass away in her handbag. If there's a deeper significance there, it's the handbag. Wait, the lady put a glass in her handbag, you say? Yes, do try to keep up. It's already been explained to the court that all English women carry handbags for small items. Let me see. A little while ago, Miss Brett stated the following. There's no pockets in my outfit. I have nowhere to hide a gun. That's right, she said that. But she forgot to mention, what she forgot to mention was her handbag, in which could be perfectly possible to conceal a gun. You're right. Well done, partner. I had a feeling you'd pick up on that too. What are you insinuating, you vile blackguard? It's really very simple. The gunshot was heard when the defendant picked up a gun from the restaurant floor. As he didn't fire the gun, we can deduce there must have been another firearm at the scene. The true murder weapon, if you will. You can't seriously be suggesting. Inspector Hosonaga. Yes? Did you or did you not search Miss Jezebel's handbag on the day of the murder? No, sir, I did not. As I thought. In other words, another gun, the one that was actually used to kill the professor, could have been hidden in Miss Brett's handbag. Wah, wah, wah. Order, order. What is the meaning of this, Inspector? The meaning of what, Prosecutor Ouchie? Why on earth did you not have the lady open her handbag and show you the contents at the time? Thanks to your bungling incompetence, now she has to endure these uncomfortable accusations. Brilliant work, partner. Now we have a chance to expose the real woman behind the mask. Do you think so, Kazuma? Oh, now he's choking. Well, what a sorry situation. Clearly, you have no faith in the police. As I said, I did not search the lady's handbag after the shooting, simply because it was unnecessary. Unnecessary in what way? I ought to thank the student lawyer, really. I have a piece of evidence here that I had completely forgotten about. This photographic print. This is a print of the photograph that I thought would be prudent to take immediately after the shooting. As you can see, it clearly shows Miss Brett's handbag. Well, I never. You can see right through to what's inside. That's right. Apparently, the meshwork bags like these are at the height of fashion in London at the moment. So the contents are clearly visible. Exactly. So there is no need to search the lady's handbag. If there had been a gun inside, it would have been immediately obvious. As you can see, there is nothing to imply Miss Brett's guilt here. Thank you for helping to prove that, Naruhodo-san. Order, order. Inspector Hosonaga, will you submit that print as evidence at once? Certainly, Your Excellency. I think you've had long enough to cross-examine the witness, counsel. The court has now been shown considerable evidence. As the photograph of print just submitted into the court record appears to have no further significance, I am satisfied that there is no longer any room for doubt in this matter, and I must make my ruling. Indeed, there is only one logical conclusion. That the pathetic rookie slumped over the bench before us is the only possible perpetrator of this crime. No. Just when I thought I was beginning to turn things around, I'm in the worse situation than I was at the start. Kazuma? I'm sorry, Ryunosuke. Now that the cross-examination of the witness is over, there's no way to force the trial to continue. What? What do you mean? This is it? I must say, you put up quite a fight for a rookie student, but the weak are meat, while the strong eat. You are wasting your time. There is no way to defeat true justice. In fact, you can chew on to your heart's content from the inside of your cell. This can't be happening. Am I really going to be found guilty of a crime I didn't commit? And Kazuma, his dream of going to study in Great Britain will slip through his fingers. Kazuma? What? Is there really no chance of turning this trial around? You heard the judge. There's nothing about that last photograph. There's nothing about that last photograph the detective produced that we can contest, which means there's no basis on which we can argue for the trial to continue. Very well. I will now proceed immediately to the ruling. It seems we will be able to report to the British government on time after all. That smug little... Ryunosuke Naruhodo, having considered all of the evidence placed before me,
Yes!
Wait, Your Excellency. Ryunosuke? I don't think you can rule on this case yet.
Objection!
This amateurishness is getting tedious. When His Excellency deems the trial over, he gives his ruling. That is the most basic protocol of the courtroom.
Yes!
Your Excellency, just a moment ago you said this. As the photographic print just submitted appears to have no further significance, there is no longer any room for doubt in this manner. I must make my ruling. Now that means if there was a problem with the evidence, some significant detail I mean, then the ruling on the case at this time would be out of the question.
Objection!
This is a blatant straw clutching. Look at this photographic print. All it shows is the handbag the gentlewoman was carrying on the day in question. There can be no problem with this evidence. You better know what you're doing, Ryunosuke. I understand your objection, counsel. Certainly the new evidence submitted by the detective has not undergone the court's scrutiny. However, I fail to see how we can glean any new information from this handbag. Ha! My thoughts exactly. Really, the prosecution is becoming tired of this rookie's desperate wheezes. Yes, I am desperate, but this isn't a wheeze. There's something about this photograph which doesn't seem right. If only I could put my finger on it. Very well, I will grant the defense one final opportunity. What? But be warned that if I am unsatisfied by your response here, the trial will be over with immediate effect. Do I make myself clear? Yes, Your Excellency. So, take another look at this photographic print Inspector Hosonaga submitted before. You will identify to the court where in this print we see a significant detail to which you have alluded. The only thing I can see is this weird, like, shape on his arm. Like, what is that? Because there's nothing wrong with the handbag itself that I can see. So the only thing I noticed was that over there. Like, what's that?
Yes!
Look at this, here. There's a very unusual mark on the victim's wrist. That is true. It looks almost like a burn of some description.
Objection!
Dear me, I was pondering what new trifle you would come out with. A burn, you say, on the victim's wrist. Clearly it has nothing whatsoever to do with the magnificent lady's handbag. Yes, that is a burn mark. You're right. Go on, Inspector. The police coroner also noticed it when he was performing a post-mortem examination. It was deemed unrelated to the cause of death, so he didn't note it in his report. What did I tell you? In any case, we have no idea when the victim suffered this burn, do we? And no possible way of knowing either. The more I look at it, the more I find myself intrigued by the curious shape of this mark. However, as the prosecutor Aoshi pointed out, less a firm connection to the case can be shown. I cannot allow any further time to be spent on the precise details of this burn. Excuse me, Your Excellency. It would seem Miss Brett has a lunch appointment with her dean and other university staff. She would like to know if she may be excused from the stand now. Oh, of course, dear lady. We shan't hold you up any longer. I'm quite sure His Excellency is about to give his final ruling anyway. What is your thinking on this, Ryunosuke? Do you believe this burn has something to do with the case? To be honest, I'm not really sure. But if I don't keep pushing, then it's all over. So I was thinking I should keep digging and digging, in the hope that I might uncover something useful. Yes, you're right. I am? If we could just link that burn to the case. Then if we can do that, we might be able to prise this shutting door back open again. Give up, Council. You can't possibly hope to do that. Indeed, I am afraid that without evidence, I can't allow you to pursue what is little more than conjecture. But if we had evidence that refutably linked the burn to the victim's wrist to the case, then would you allow it? I would, yes. To tell the truth, I hadn't noticed the burn. But as soon as you pointed it out, what I did notice was the color draining from Mrs. Brett's face. Really? I have to find some link between the burn and the case. This is the moment of truth. Time to find some evidence that proves what the burn really means. So, then, the defense will now present its evidence to the court. The evidence that demonstrates an inscrutable connection between the victim's burn and this trial. No. 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 It's right there! Look! Look, chat, look! Oh my god, it's a little, Yes, it looks like a little cow head. Okay. So we're gonna present that one.
Yes!
What is this, Council? Yet another print? Yes, Your Excellency. I believe photographic prints are an amazing invention. When we humans look at the scene, we miss things. But in a photograph, things we may have overlooked at the time are recorded forevermore. Do hurry up, Rookie. What are you trying to say? To inconvenience this poor lady any further would be quite inexcusable. Actually, we may need you to stay with us a little longer if you don't mind, Miss Brett. You see, it is very clearly visible in this other photograph. How did the victim come to have that unusually shaped burn on his wrist? The reason is recorded here forevermore. What? How?
Objection!
You can't fool me with your little bluffs, boy. If that's your game, then let's see how it plays out. Show the court exactly what you mean. What is in this photograph that explains the reason for the victim's burn? Can I get it like right on there? Kind of. It's like... There we go. That's what I want.
Yes!
The beefsteak? Actually, the point is the metal plate the steak was served on. The plate? Your Excellency, are you alright? As you can see, there's an emblem on the plate. I would guess it is some sort of trademark for La Carnival. This emblem on the plate and the victim's burn are exactly the same shape. Ryunosuke, you genius. You're spot on. Which means the victim must have suffered this burn while he was present at the restaurant.
Objection!
Hey, but even if that is the case, we can't know if it happened on the day in question or not. It could have been the day before, or the day before that. It most likely happened some other unrelated time. Well,
Objection!
sadly, Prosecutor Archie, the chances of that are extremely slim. Thanks. Why? The outline of the burn is clearly discernible. Such a serious injury would have caused quite a commotion at the restaurant. Will you agree, Inspector Hosonaga? I can't imagine having missed such a terrible disaster, certainly. But, I would say, looking at the picture of the wound, that it wasn't suffered very long ago. And although it is not a particularly large burn, it is extremely well defined, as the defense pointed out. This was no mild burn, that's for sure. Can you be more specific, Inspector? Well, let's see. If the plate was around 90 degrees centigrade, a burn like that would have taken around 3 seconds. It is inconceivable that the victim wouldn't have let out a scream of pain then. I have been investigating at the restaurant for several weeks already, but I have not heard anyone scream at all. As the waiter of La Carnival, I could testify to that without hesitation. But you are a detective, not a waiter.
Yes!
There you have it. Something isn't right here. As the detective said, anyone who burnt themselves on a piping hot plate for 3 whole seconds would scream in pain. There's no question of that. And yet, Inspector Hosonaga never heard the professor scream, not on that day or any before it. That's right, and the strange thing is, on the day he was shot, I didn't hear him cry out either. What are you suggesting? Well, if the professor had carelessly laid his wrist on the plate for anything like 3 seconds that day, that would be beyond careless, I think, counsel. Then the rest of us in the restaurant, myself, the sergeant, and the old antiquities dealer, all of us would, without any question, have heard him scream. Wouldn't you agree, Prosecutor Aochi? Well, yes, I suppose. So the question is, why didn't a single person hear Dr. Wilson scream? I almost don't believe it, Ryunosuke. Do you think? Can it really be true? I never dreamt we arrived at a conclusion like this, but I'm starting to think that maybe we've been led into a terrible trap. There's only one explanation I can think of to make sense of this apparent impossibility. On the day in question, when he suffered the burn to his wrist, Dr. Wilson was he already dead? Because he couldn't have not noticed it. Unless the anesthesia was still working its way through his system. It's either of these. I'm gonna go with this one. I want to see if he was already dead first. If not, then he just didn't notice it. There's no way he was asleep. That would have woke him up. No man could remain silent while his wrist was burning on a piping hot plate for 3 whole seconds. It was clearly impossible. Apart from the one particular situation. Counsel, are you suggesting? Yes, it was only possible that the man was already dead. Already dead? Knowing what we know now, it's the only possible explanation. When the beefsteak was brought to Dr. Wilson's table that day, the professor was already dead. That's that's madness. Okay, so I guess I got that right. Order, 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 please. Counsel, explain this absurd notion at once. The victim was killed by a gunshot. That's right. That's absolutely right, Your Excellency. This is just another ridiculous ploy by the rookie student, but clearly he has no grasp of the facts.
Objection!
No, Professor Aochi. It was you who has no grasp of the facts. I beg your pardon? As soon as it became apparent the victim had suffered that burn while at the restaurant, the whole case turned upside down. Or have you not grasped that yet? Your Excellency, this court must hear from the witness again. If it is true, as we now believe, that the victim was already dead before the gunshot was heard, it is highly likely that Miss Brett knows something about it. Incredible. I certainly didn't anticipate this twist of events. I'm sorry to say, Miss Brett, that you will have to forget your luncheon engagement. But, Your Excellency, the justice system in our country may be in its infancy, but rest assured, all reasonable doubt must be dispelled before I am prepared to pass judgment. Thank you, Your Excellency. What was that smile? Yes, of course. I mean, I'll be delighted to help. Especially if it helps relations between my country and yours. Miss Brett, you speak Japanese. Well, of course I do. I am studying in your country, after all. But then, why have you been speaking through an interpreter until now? My mother tongue, the Queen's English, is the most refined and elegant language in the world. As a gentlewoman, I try to avoid speaking in your vulgar tones as much as possible. Wow. Crazy work this is. Oh my god. But it seems the men in this land possess none of the chivalrous virtues of English gentlemen. So I can see that I have to lower myself to communicating with you all on your own level. Oh, well... You are the epitome of a true English gentlewoman. We are truly honored by this lavish consideration you so graciously afforded us. I see. In that case, Miss Brett, I will now ask you to testify in your own words about the events leading to the death of the victim, Dr. Wilson. So, we're finally going to hear her own words on the matter. Things are getting interesting, Ryunosuke. Yes, indeed. Unfortunately, I have no idea when the poor man burnt his wrist like that. When the waiter brought my steak, the professor and I raised our glasses and toast. As far as I've heard, the post-mortem report showed no possible cause of death besides the gunshot. If there's some other way a man's life can be taken without leaving a trace, please do show me. But of course, this country's inferior investigative techniques probably wouldn't pick up on it anyway. Oh, she poisoned him. That's all that tells me. She poisoned him. That most captivating and beautiful testimony will go down in Supreme Court's history. Thank you. Easy does it. I hope this is the last time I have to sully my lips with the coarse tones of your unbecoming tongue. Oh, forgive me. I do hope I haven't insulted anyone. You've insulted everyone, except for this guy. Not at all, not at all. It is such a delight merely to hear you speak, dear lady. It and it seems very clear from your testimony that the boorish talk of the victim's burn is utterly irrelevant. I will be speaking in your country to your country's Minister of Justice about what happened here today. The Minister of Justice. May may that irritating little bully of a student be given the harshest punishment possible. Amen. Huh? Thanks? Was that a prayer then? Well, you have to forgive the irritation, Miss Brett. Put up with the cross-examination now. I expect that you've noticed that this little bully of a student, as you put it, doesn't miss much. I'm sure I don't need to remind you, counsel, that this will be your final cross-examination in this trial. If you fail to demonstrate any problems with this witness testimony, I will be ruling on the case immediately. Is that clear? Oh. Okay, I guess we're awake now. Yes, Your Excellency. Then you may proceed with the cross-examination. Alright, this lady. She poisoned him. We all know it. The victim's death. Unfortunately, I have no idea when the poor man burnt his wrist like that. Okay? We're pressing everything.
Yes!
But his hand was on the searing hot plate for at least 3 whole seconds. You could not have noticed. Do you think so? Let me ask you something. Sorry? Ever since I arrived in this courtroom, and even still now, the fly on those unsightly black trousers of yours has been wide open. You can't have not noticed, can you? Huh? What? What fun. You hadn't realized. The dear lady is absolutely right. As your friend, you've embarrassed me as well yourself, Ryunosuke. Why didn't you tell me? Dr. Wilson was a true English gentleman. He chose honorable silence over a vulgar scream. Can your tiny brains imagine such a thing? Oh yes, I think my tiny brain can.
Yes!
Well, I can't. Anyway, when the waiter brought out my steak, the professor and I raised our glasses in toast.
Yes!
As you testified before, you were drinking carbonated water, is that right? Dr. Wilson was only permitted to drink water at the time, if you remember. Which explains why he ordered that drink, correct, waiter? Exactly as you say, sir. Although, whether or not the professor actually drank any of the water when I delivered the steak to the table, I'm afraid I don't remember that. Damn you. I have enough English to understand that at least. For the benefit of others in the court, it means bless you. It does not. It is a curse. I think it means the opposite. Anyway, as far as I've heard, the postmortem report shows no other possible causes of death besides the gunshot. Yeah? Let me look. It just says that it didn't pass through the victim's body. Yeah, that's it. Single bullet fired at close range. Fatal hemorrhage from pectoral ballistic trauma. No exit wound. The bullet did not pass through the body. Yeah, that's all it says.
Yes!
Yes, it is written here in the paperwork. Fatal hemorrhage from ballistic trauma. Yes. Luckily for all of us, a little burn on the wrist isn't going to kill us. And there's no other signs of trauma on the victim's body to indicate another cause of death. It could have only been the bullet from your gun that put an end to an innocent man's life. But it doesn't make sense. The burn must have happened straight away when the plate was first brought to the table by the waiter. Yes, that's true. If it hadn't cooled even slightly, it wouldn't have been able to make a burn like that. And if the victim burnt his wrist on a hot plate as soon as it was brought out from the kitchen, then he must have been already dead at that point. And yet, the fact is that the victim was killed by a gunshot to the chest. Until you are able to show the court evidence to disapprove that, this is a complete waste of time. I concur. Ouchie is right. Ugh. If there is some other way a man's life can be taken without leaving a trace, please do show me.
Yes!
Without leaving a trace. If someone is shot, or strangled, or stabbed, or thrown from a height. However a person's life is taken, there's always telltale traces on the body. Quite right, dear lady. And our police force has thoroughly examined the body of the deceased, there can be no doubt. Isn't that right, Inspector Hosonaga? As I have said, I always aim for flawless investigation. There will always be physical traces with all those causes of death, that's true. But maybe there's some other way of killing that doesn't leave a mark. If heaven forbid you doubted me, young man, you're going to have to tell everyone how exactly you think the professor did lose his life. Otherwise, I'm afraid your argument fails under that flat, doesn't? Oh no, perish the thought, calling such a sweet young lady's innocence into question. On my honor, I, Tatsuichi Aochi, will cut down any who dare cast such aspirations. I can't. His name. A way of killing someone that leaves no trace. We need some evidence to back us up here. Yes, evidence. But of course this country's inferior investigative techniques probably wouldn't pick up on it anyway.
Yes!
Inferior? What do you mean by that? In the lands of Great British Empire, the police store everything found at the crime scene for later examination. But in this country, you investigate once and that's the end of it. Isn't that so? Quite right. The carnival is open for business as usual today, just days after the incident. Exactly. Which means even if the investigation takes a different direction, vital evidence may be lost. What does that mean? Hello? It doesn't even occur to your naive detectives to try to preserve the crime scene. Why we got that up there? What does that mean? Can I talk to him? I'm trying to be as tactful about this as I can, you understand. A killer blow. The lady is as formidable as she is beautiful. Amazing. He actually admitted our police may be flawed. Perhaps Prosecutor Aochi is finally started to see sense. I very much doubt that. Still, there's something about what Miss Brett just said. There was a moment before when something didn't quite seem quite right. What do you think, Ryunosuke? I think it's going terribly. No matter how much I press her, I'm not turning up any new information. Yes, and as I suspected, she's a tough witness. We need to find a way to break her testimony, or the cross-examination will be over. But that would mean I have to find a way. There must be some clue somewhere to help us find a clink in her armor. Kazuma. What, Ryunosuke? There is one thing I noticed. Something that's been bothering me. Bothering you? You mean about Miss Brett? Actually, no. About the person standing next to her. Inspector Hosonaga. The detective. Yes, he seems to react a little strangely to Miss Brett's last statement. I was wondering if might be significant, if I might present an opening, maybe. Alright, I have an idea. Try pressing her on that last statement one more time. Vamp did with the hammer in the kitchen. If you think so, but... Hi, Dab! Welcome! We're getting into the nitty-gritty of this one. But this time, instead of targeting the woman herself, let's see what we can get out of the detective. Alright then, I wonder what Cosmo is thinking. I'll find out soon enough, I suppose, once I press Miss Brett on her last statement again.
Yes!
Okay, we're pressing her again. Okay.
Wait.
Okay, so what do we do? Yes, there it is again. The detective's reaction is just the same as before. Why? Up until now, the detective has been in the stand with Miss Brett as her interpreter. But things are very different now. For this testimony, the detective is just listening to what the Englishwoman has to say. This could be a golden opportunity. What do you mean? When people are actually testifying, they're usually very careful not to let anything slip. However, when they are listening to someone else speak, you'll find they often let their guard down. You're right, look at him. He's lost in his own thoughts. It is the time to pursue the man and his train of thought. Sorry? Pursue? I'll explain how to do it now, Ryunosuke. It's all to do with the witness marker. What marker? At the moment, we're focused on Miss Brett, who's the person actually making the current statement. By moving the marker left or right, you can turn your attention to other people in the stand. While you're looking at the other witnesses, you'll be able to pursue them with space. You can catch the person at just the right time. You might uncover some new information to pursue. If you ever notice a strange atmosphere amongst the people on the stand, take a good look around. Alright then, so first I should move the marker across and focus on the detective. Then pursue with space and see what's on his mind. Here we go.
Wait. Excuse me.
What is the meaning of this? I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to shock you. He really was lost in his own thoughts. Deeply. It looked like you were thinking something just now, Inspector. Perhaps having heard what the lady next to you had to say. If there's something you'd like to say, please share it with the court.
Objection!
What is the meaning of this? It is the delightful Englishwoman who is testifying at the moment. You can't find fault with her testimony and then cross-examine. It should be over immediately. Oh, is that how it works? Absolutely not. Hmm? The detective is in the stand, which makes him a valid witness. Yes, not to mention the fact that he was intimately involved in the case. I don't know why I said it like that. Inspector Hosonaga. Yes. Do you have something to add in relation to the statement that was made by Miss Brett? Well, yes, if you don't mind. I would like to speak. The lady is right. Our country's police practices are not as modern as those used in Great Britain. Which is why I, Satoru Hasanaga, has always strived to make every investigation I'm involved in flawless. What do you really mean by that? I will tell you what I mean. I won't have evidence lacking on my watch. I am not afraid to take everything I can from the scene of the crime and preserving evidence, you see. I don't care if they call me a crime scene thief. I'm not ashamed of what I've done. A crime scene thief. Well, it looks like the lady's remarks touched a nerve there. Take this, for example. Is that? This is the bottle of carbonated water that I took from the victim's table on the day in question. And yes, it's lost all its fizz, having been opened 3 days ago now. But it was carbonated water. I don't care what anyone says. Yes, there's some left in the bottle. I can see it. One day our police force will be among the best in the world. The time is coming. I guarantee it. I can't say I condone the witness's actions, but I do understand the sentiment. The court will accept the glass bottle of water as evidence. Miss Brett, can you confirm this is indeed the bottle from which you drank on the day of the victim's death? Yes, it was that bottle. What was that about? She seemed to have averted her eyes when she answered the judge's question. Very well, counsel. You may resume the cross-examination. An inspector will kindly control his fervor. Ahem. Just like that. Take it without leaving a trace. Please do show me. So I believe it is this bottle because we just got it as evidence. I also would like to inspect this bottle. Rotating. There's still water in it, right? Nothing around it. Nothing in the top, okay. So we just have to look at this and then probably the liquid inside. The label is written in a foreign language that I don't recognize. Do you know what it says, Kazuma? I think it's French. It must be very expensive water. Yes, but what does it say? That's what I was asking. Then go to France and ask. You could have just said you don't know. Okay, what about the liquid inside the bottle? So this carbonated water is the last drink Dr. Wilson ever had. It looks like there's a little left in the bottle, although it's just plain water now. You know, I've been sweating so much, I'm absolutely parched. I'll just have a sip of this to keep me going. No, Ryunosuke, you can't do that. For one thing, that's evidence. You can't go drinking evidence. Oh no, you're right. We don't know what might be inside, do we? You never cease to amaze me, Ryunosuke, in more ways than one. I wonder, could there be anything in this water? What's the matter? You've gone quiet all of a sudden. I think I might have just worked something out. An interesting possibility. Yep. That's it. That is it.
Yes!
What is it? What is this? The bottle of water? Actually, there's one method of killing a man without leaving a trace that comes to mind. Obviously, I'm referring to poison. Poison? On the day of his death, we know that Dr. Wilson drank from this bottle of carbonated water. Could it be that there was poison inside? Could it be that the professor actually died after taking a sip from his glass? Order, order, order. And on that day, who was sitting at the same table as the professor and able to slip the poison into his drink? There's only one person who could possibly have done it. Jezebel Brett, it was you.
Objection!
This is outrageous to suggest such a thing without a scrap of evidence. Kuzco's poison, the one used to kill Kuzco. You little rookie imbecile. Have you considered the delicate situation our country finds itself in right now? You keep bringing that shit up, bro. I don't care. I'm about to be, sentenced for murder. I could give, like, a fuck less. Like, are you serious? Have you forgotten that we have only just signed a accord of friendship with the British Empire? So? Have you even the vaguest inkling that your rash accusations could jeopardize the entire treaty? Don't care.
Objection!
This is not a political arena. This is a trial to determine one individual's guilt with respect to one crime. What? The fact that this woman is British makes no difference. We are here to determine the truth. If I may, I will silence you forever for this. Oh! It was you who should be silent. Of course. Where did that come from? She just snapped. I'm afraid I may have spoken unfairly before. I offer my most humble apologies. I'm sorry, my lady. What are you referring? I described your police force as inferior. But no matter how inferior they may be, you still investigated this particular point thoroughly, I believe. The bottle, I mean, Inspector, and whether it contained poison or not. Of course. You did? Have you forgotten my guiding principle already? I strive for a flawless investigation every time. I don't believe it. Naturally, we tested the inside of the bottle and its contents. And? What did you find, Inspector? I ordered tests of every toxin that's available in this country at the present time. We could find no trace of poison or any description in the carbonated water, Your Excellency. What? Are you sure? The tests were meticulously carried out by the chief coroner himself. No. Yeah, but did you test the cup that she had? I'm very grateful to all you Japanese. You successfully established my complete innocence in this horrid affair. Thank you. But of course, dear lady, the pleasure was all ours. I was so sure. This can't be right. Everything falls into place if he was poisoned. Thank you, counsel. I think the cross-examination has clarified everything. That the prosecution has asserted a shot to the chest with this gun, the only conceivable cause of death. Furthermore, the accused, by whom his own admission was holding this weapon, is the only possible culprit. I'm done for. The court wishes to apologize for the great inconvenience this has caused you, Miss Brett. Oh no, I'm just glad the matter is resolved. Before proceeding, I must ask the counsel for the defense. Do you have any further new evidence to present the court at this point? Kazuma. I'm sorry, Ryunosuke. I have nothing more. Well, if you excuse me now, I really must be leaving.
Hold it!
Please wait. Isn't that? What is the meaning of this? Forgive me for intruding on court proceedings, Your Excellency. Susato Mikutoba, Judicial Assistant to the Defense. Mikutoba? In my darkest hour, with nowhere left to go, she appeared like a bolt of lightning. And in her hand she carried a small package, wrapped in furoshiki cloth. To be continued. And here I thought we were gonna finish this trial tonight, chat. I'm guessing that will not be the case. Alright. Whee! Well, it's been a little over 3 hours that I've been streaming, and wow. I tell you, I am enjoying this. I'm trying to get the game to stop. Come on, game. Let me out. Let's see. Options. Exit. Alright. So it looks like we're not going to finish this tonight. Man, it's probably all the reading I have to do. But either way it goes. Ah, it's so good. It's so good. I didn't think it was going to be this good, but it's so good. It's so good, chat. And we've made it a good deal. It looks like there's a third part to this, so maybe next stream we'll be able to finish it. Buffering. Well, let's go see if anybody is on right now. Doo doo doo. Hmm. Huh. I guess not. Alright. Well, I am going to do the stream ending. And I'm just going to end today. So, I'm going to go chat. I'm going to go and relax. I hope you guys all enjoyed this first 2 parts of this trial. And I hope to see you all next time I'm able to stream. Yeah, and that's it. I'll be trying to get these videos up on YouTube as quickly as possible for those who want to relive the fun. Okay, until next time, chat. Bye bye. Bye. See you next time. I'm gonna send you guys to some animals. I'm gonna send you some animals.